Lots of electric vehicles here in Washington, D.C. But this Kia is way cooler than that one.
And I have to tell you, the Kia Niro is absolutely great. I loved it. I don't think people who have not driven an EV really can appreciate how much fun they are to drive.
There's something just fun to drive about electric vehicles, and this one especially. Just great pickup, feels really fun to drive.
And so that was the first impression I had. And this is great to drive. It just handles beautifully. It goes where you point it. I love the peppiness of it, the torque, the pickup, whatever you want to call it. It's just a lot of fun to drive. And you might want to tell our viewers, why does the Kia Niro EV make this really cool high-tech noise?
Very Star Trek-y, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, that's an interesting point, John, because there were about 5 or 6 different sounds that we were presented with when the car was in development and we actually thought that sound sounded kind of, as James put it, kind of Star Trek-y and a high-tech, and it's distinct from some of the other sounds that are presented and that exist in the marketplace. So we thought it was kind of fitting to the car because of its sort of techie nature. Yeah.
The other side of electric vehicle experience is the lack of engine noise. And there's been some talk about maybe simulating you could push a button and it sounds like a Ferrari V12, and you push another button and it sounds like a Corvette or whatever. But until those days, I think it's to Steve's point, we want to kind of play up the fact that you're driving something unique, something that doesn't sound like anything else. And you're right, it becomes a noise that if you're in a parking lot or an underground parking lot especially, you put the windows down because you like to hear it. It's fun.
EVs, as James said, are silent. They make no noise. And so as we've been working with regulators, we want to make sure that people who are sight challenged can't see where the vehicle's coming from. They're generally listening to a vehicle, they hear engine noise. And so this is sound that the vehicle emits to make sure that somebody who can't necessarily see the car can hear the car. And I love that you were so creative with it.
Acceleration is fantastic. The car goes where you point it. Really comfortable. Very smooth ride. Love the package, plenty of space.
And we're approaching electrified transportation, personal electrified transportation, as much more of a lifestyle decision. I mean, the idea of leaving your house and having a full tank of gas, you don't know how nice that is until you do it every day. Driving, only stopping at a gas station when you want a bottle of Gatorade. That's a unique thing, especially for those of us that have been, trained to stop at the gas station once, twice, who knows how many times a week. So there is a larger lifestyle, which is more relaxing. The vehicles are quieter, so they're a nicer place to be than a gasoline-powered car in many cases. And so it's not just doing the right thing for the environment or doing the right thing for your pocketbook. It's doing the right thing for your soul in many ways. And I think it's just a much more comfortable transportation lifestyle.
So let's talk a little bit about what's inside the vehicle, what's under the hood, right? So I was surprised at the range. So this is well north of 200 miles range. And so, how do you feel that is competitively? And tell us a little bit more about how do you achieve that range and what's going on under the hood?
It's a combination of under the hood and under the floor.
Right.
We have a state-of-the-art liquid-cooled 64 kilowatt-hour battery. But what's cool about the battery, no pun intended, is the cells. The cells are what we call 811, and that's the combination of the nickel, cobalt, and manganese. So that particular cell is very, very energy dense, and it's beginning to proliferate the industry, but we kind of got there ahead of several others. And so that's part of the magic. It's also how we use the energy and how we recapture the energy on regen braking. So all of that coupled with a very efficient motor, it's a 201 horsepower electric motor. It's about 96% efficient, which is very high. A lot of torque, as you mentioned, you felt it, 291 pound-feet. That's a lot of torque in a car like that. So the whole execution really equates to a very strong range, 239 miles. But the fact is, you can go a lot further.
And John, if I can just take a second to add to that, you asked, what's the future? It's inevitable. This is where transportation's going. Now, I think in many cases, the U.S. customer is being dragged in, kicking and screaming a little bit. It's all about the, getting the champions in your neighborhood, seeing the guy down the road who gets an EV and then stopping and saying, what's this really like? I think those little moments are going to be a big impact. But to Steve's point, the business is going there. The big manufacturers are loading up and are coming to market with them. And in many cases, it's going to be replacing full gasoline powered vehicles. So it's on.